Okay, lift the lid. What I'm going to do is check the feeder end first, because that's where we had the look at the propolis there. I'll just see if they've taken any of the food. Looks like they have. They've taken the food in the interim. I'll just take a look at the comb. They're very quiet. See if they've done anything at this end. No, they haven't done anything with the comb we put in. Okay, there's the follower board. So I'll take it up from there. Nothing here. We've got lots of, they've cleaned out that comb in the bottom. They've certainly started sticking these top bars together. Right. What I'm going to do is, you know the stuff we chucked in, they've taken it all. So they've emptied the comb that we put in for scrap. And here we can see that they've already started building comb out on the top bars to the right of the national bars that we put in to start with. This kind of knife is really useful for example, separating comb if they build it to the sides of the hive. Okay, well I'll take this one out, so we've got a little bit more room.
There's a little bit on that.
A little teeny bit.
I've got that on film.
That's about what we had before, but look how they built out on this one.
That one was the same as this before.
That one was, yeah, that's right. So they're working their way out nicely. Right, just tidying for you, ladies. That's a bit of tidying. And you can see that they've used the strip wood that I handily put on the top bar as a guide for building. And down in the bottom of the hive, you'll notice the eco floor, which is just mulch that I put in to act as a repository for bugs that will eat any varroa that drop off. You can see again the way they've formed comb on the top bar very nicely. And here again, this is a trimmed national frame, and you can see that if you look underneath them, they've started to develop it downwards into more of a catenary structure. Very important always to articulate comb in a top bar hive through a single vertical axis, otherwise the comb is likely to break off. And here we can see lots of stores, opened brood and sealed brood, coming along very nicely indeed. So it's very pleasing to see that they've continued to be quite a vigorous colony. Now that there is a tendency in some top bar hives for the bees to build comb right up to the sides of the hive, hence the usefulness of the knife I showed you. But on this one you'll see, if you look closely in there, that they've kept nicely away from the sides of the hive on these frames, which is very pleasing because it can be a bit messy sorting it out. Lots of filled comb and stores going in like you wouldn't believe, you know, it's really good. Okay, ladies. Peel it back a little bit more. And there again, lots and lots of brood comb, some emptying out. Excellent. I don't want to go much further in because they're doing what we want them to do, which is building comb towards the outside, and just slide these back up, and they're avoiding doing what they sometimes do, which is to flag everything to the sides. I'm just trying to line these up a bit. Put this back in and building new combs. So they're obviously settled. I'm going to move the follower board further in, just about two of the top bars along, so that they've got plenty of room to expand. They've got the other end that they could be going to, which seem to be assiduously avoiding, and there we are. All is safely gathered in. That's pretty encouraging though, don't you think? That's good. All back in. They've been very well behaved. They haven't come flooding up into the top, which they did the first time we came in. So we now just close them up and let them get on with what they get on with. There we are. That was our first foray into getting on for a proper inspection. I didn't want to go too far into the hive because, as I said, it looked as though they were doing exactly what we wanted them to do, and I wanted to minimize the disruption that we caused. And that's one of the nice things about the top bar hive. I wasn't doing my back end lifting supers off to get a look in there, and B, the bees were minimally disturbed. I was only in one end of the hive, and there were about 10 to 12 frames that were to the left of where I was working from the back. So it was a very pleasant experience all around, and it was lovely to see that they're getting on with the job. And thank you, Sue, for such lovely bees. So we'll keep you up to date with further progress if you'd be interested. I'd love to hear from you. Cheerio.